Okay. He has his own.
Wow. If you want to talk about the biggest artist in the world that has the biggest brand in terms of diversifying and putting himself out there, is Snoop Dogg. Let me explain why.
I would agree with that.
Snoop Dogg has done music. He has done movies. He has done comedy. He has done wrestling. He has even gone as far as doing adult movies.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're talking about Nigerian music industry or Nigerian entertainment industry, how far has their reinvention gone? Yes, we are still growing. Yes, we are still learning. When you mention artists and their management teams, yes, management teams exist, but a brand grows as well as its reach can be. And let me explain what I mean by that. We have the likes of Burna Boy, whose mom and dad were instrumental in the workings of Fela's music. So they understood the scene to a large extent. Let's not forget, Burna Boy's sister, one of them is the person who styles him.
Nisi.
No, Nisi is the stylist. Nisi is the artist. Nisi is also a musician and also a graphic designer.
And a promoter too.
So it's just like a family who has all lawyers.
So, but do all artists, do they need to have that background?
So, it's not about having the background, but having the support that has the know-how. Now, the problem with this is this costs money. Burna Boy is running a family project. When Davido started, he had his cousin B-Red around him. He had Spesh, who, by the way, I have to call him, was my secondary school mate. He had people who were more like family than friends around him. So he has to start out as a unit. And it's not cheap. It doesn't come cheap. So if we expect it of all Nigerian artists, then we are not being true to ourselves to understand our limitations. Now, part of our limitations is Nigeria does not have the systems that work, that encourage that major branch out. How do I mean this? It's just from last 2 years that we started having DSPs that are domiciled in Nigeria. It's just about last 3 years that we started having Sony wanting to have a full presence in Nigeria.
I think it was like about 2 weeks ago, Kim Kardashian's daughter, North, was her birthday, and then they were celebrating the birthday.
And she wanted ice.
No, she was playing she was vibing. They were vibing to Baby, and they were all singing. You know how young? I think she's 11 years old. Question now is, if Rema comes now, she wouldn't know. Like if Rema comes in, let's say
they know they recognize person finish. They know they recognize person finish. Jay-Z went for a football match. He passed with him picking. Person see him. Gonna shout, "Oh, which artist is that? Which artist is that?" If they did not see the security, they follow.
I'm trying to tell you now. Like Rema is like one of the biggest exports we have right now in music, especially the Calm Down song. And the reason I used Northwest as an example
is because the family is also popular.
Yeah, she's actually one of the biggest.
Exactly.
Child.
So now, if let's say her parents decide like, okay, let Rema come and do a surprise, she wouldn't know him. Unless they say, oh, that's Rema or something, unless he starts singing. What we're saying is, as popular as our music is, we need to now do the same way. If a Justin Bieber walks in, where as they have this conversation now,
I don't know because a lot of fair people do.
As much as we look at the Nigerian music or Nigerian entertainment scene, it's still a young industry.
See, I don't like this thing of bringing age. We not be anybody age mates. See,
no. What I'm saying that when a Madonna releases an album, then you hear that year she's releasing the album, she's going on top.
Of course.
Beyonce is going on top. They are not stupid for doing that.
Of course.
They know why they're doing that. Because they want to interact with the fans
audience
and let them know who they look like. Because then there were no music videos. It was cheaper for them to go on tours than put out music. Because now you promoting your song, you spend so much money, but the tour, as much as you're spending money, you're getting it back.
The process.
But they're already doing that.
So they are doing it, but they are not doing it enough.
Yes, exactly.
But what is enough now?
Because many of them, like now.
I mean, look at over the weekend. Do you know how many events?
Why I only said
Festival,
no.
Essence,
That is the problem. See, the problem is that it's only Burna Boy, Wizkid. That's the top things that actually
Portable was at this festival.
Don't say it. Burna Boy has achieved going around the major cities in Nigeria, so he doesn't need to tour Nigeria. That is why even to have him on radio is a Herculean tax, because he feels he has expended his facility in Nigeria. He has expended his facility in Africa, to be precise. So he doesn't need an African tour. What he needs is a European, Asian, South Asian. That's what he needs.
Someone like Rema, for example.
So let me give you an example. Davido is doing his UK tour right now. Was CK did a tour when what's the name of this popular song? Love Wantiti came out, and he was going on tours. But minus that, he was touching down on other artist tours.
Yeah, he was.
So what you do is, if you don't have the facility to hit New York, and you know your guy who is an artist in New York, even if it's a small space, is there, you hit it. What will happen is that promotion companies will call to say, oh, you are in town, why not come back and do your own show? We'll package it and we split sales. When we had the likes of Whiskey concert, Davido's concert, Burna Boy's concert, and Thames live in Abuja, they were not the ones who organized those events.
I know.
It was corporate sponsorship.
Disney approached me. I said they wanted to use one of my mom's songs for a movie. This movie supported is a low budget movie. What they were paying was the minimum amount they would pay Beyonce.
Of course.
That's what they were paying for it, right? But a Nigerian movie to approach and say they wanted to use it. What they're paying, if I compare it to what a low budget there was paying, it was like it's like someone is offering you, 1 million naira, and I is saying 10,000 naira.
It's even less than that. It's like someone saying take 150 naira. That's actually
you know
that's a comparison.
You know why I'm laughing?
But that film now, when I went, that film that they were going to, the Nigerian film, it was all over the internet. In short, they even did on CNN. They said, oh, a big budget, no budget film. Guess how much the budget was for a big budget film? $1 million.
So here's the thing. If we are talking about budget for the industry, let's state it and let's be very clear. Nigeria has not scratched the surface in terms of money, in terms of wealth, in terms of what can be put in to get out. And we have a lot of factors that are responsible. Number one, we do not have corporate support.
Yes.
Corporate sponsorship is one. The second, when I mean corporate sponsorship, there are no big brands that want to put their weight behind superstars or the release of a project.
No, it's happening now though.
It's happening, but it's not big enough.
It's not big enough.
So I will explain. We had the likes of Falana, I'm sure you've heard her music, and there was a big bank that helped her during her tour. She did Nigeria, Lagos and Abuja, she did Ghana and I think another African country. Yeah, the bank helped, but that was not enough to push her where she's supposed to be. For movies, how many banks, what is government support? We do not have a Hollywood, we do not have locations where we can shoot expensive movies where we say we shut down Geriki. We can't do that in Nigeria. You can't. Though that is what makes a big budget movie.
I'm going to disagree with that. We've seen that. Like there was a particular movie, I can't remember the name, that shot a film at Kano State. It was a film about the emir or something like that. And they had this festival that attracts Durban, something like that. Exactly. And they were able to do that. There were how many extras? There were hundreds of extras everywhere. They were able to. So we have the facility. What we don't have is the investment, just like you said, from corporate organizations. But the likes of Mo Abudu and her Ebony Life right now have actually scratched that. They have actually gotten to that point where people actually come to them and say, we want to actually be part of your project. That's why you see an Ebony Life film release, they're still sponsored by this, or this recent movie by Tony Abraham. In fact, I don't know if you've seen the movie. Is it Tony Abraham? Yeah. Inside the movie, they are promoting one particular company or the right. So these things are already happening. What I'm saying is, it should happen more. That is the only way we're going to get the funding. Because why I'm laughing when you were telling your own is that I was even surprised they came to you. Because these days how many Nigerian movies has a soundtrack? Like when you say a movie soundtrack, it does not happen. It's recently you start seeing a film that has an actual sound. Like when I mean an actual soundtrack.
Still Falling, Dimbo Atia, it did have a soundtrack.
That's what I'm saying. I said there's only a handful of it. This Obaram film has a soundtrack that can actually go and stream.
No,
some of them.
Obaram only, actually the people that worked on it.
Exactly.
They're actually music people. That is why it has
that's why it has the soundtrack.
That's why it has the soundtrack.
I say you can go online and be like, soundtrack to so just type in Hollywood movie. You will not see. But if you go to a soundtrack, let's say Creed, it has a whole album. We were talking about Spider-Man. Exactly. So
Black Panther had an album.
These are the things that can make a film big. For example, from the soundtrack, you can get streaming and you can get money, in my opinion. Do you understand? So we have not even scratched that particular surface. But for getting funding from different like corporate organizations, it's happening now. But it should happen more. That's in my opinion. That's what I'm saying.